'Twas the night before Christmas, when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The panniers were hung on the bike with care, in hopes that Saint Nick soon would be there. The bikers were nestled all snug in their bed, while visions of road danced in their head. When out in the garage there arose such a clatter, I sprang from the bed to see what was the matter. Away to the garage I flew like a flash, turned on the light and threw up the sash. The moon on the breast of the freshly washed bike, so shiny and new, my heart beat a spike. Off to Lesotho, said good old Saint Nick. One stop in Clarence will get there so quick. The hair may be grey and the body so fragile, but once on a bike they are oh so agile. Two wheels in motion, it's hard to describe the power beneath you. Oh, what a vibe. He mounted his bike, to his wife gave a whistle, and away he drove like the down of a thistle. But I heard him exclaim as he drove out of sight, happy riding to all, and to all a good night.
Hey Chris, here we go again. I mean, another incredible trip.
Steve, a blessing. Once again we got a trip going into Lesotho, 4 days, 3 nights, and lo and behold, this time we got 14 Outriders joining us. The biggest group we've taken away from Joburg for considerable time.
I had to squeeze this in, Chris. It's my beautiful GS. And as you can see, it's the morning and we're in the morning traffic moving along out to the bar, eh?
We are, but to the blockhouse on the R59, leaving Joburg on a Thursday morning.
So we are at the blockhouse, pulled in for brekkie.
Thank you. So, madam, I will take our special
And you know that Wimp is our favourite place, and we've just had a lekker brekkie, and off we go.
And fantastic weather, it's a bit overcast, but cool weather is always good to ride in. The traffic wasn't that bad. And from the blockhouse on the R59 we headed out to Heilbron, and then that route would take us to Pietersstein, and from Pietersstein bypassing Rates we went straight to Bethlehem and then on to Clarence, where we spent our first night.
And here's our first stop for fuel.
That's it, we took a decision just to top up and stretch legs, approximately 100 k's from the blockhouse at Heilbron. You see the guys making their way in here. Always good to fill up and stretch legs wherever you can. I see Hermann there in the background with the Bonnie. He had the smallest tank of the group, so a good thing to just keep filling up.
And now we've finished the fill up and we're moving through the little town. I must say these little towns are struggling, Chris.
You see them year after year, we pass through them, and then yet you get outside of the town and this road is just magnificent.
Beautiful.
It's a lovely link to get to Clarence. It's off the beaten track, it's off the N3 obviously, it's an alternative route. There's hardly any traffic on it and maybe a pothole here and there, but for all intents and purposes a beautiful open road.
And I think this is Rates, eh?
This is not Rates yet. That's that one stop just outside of
where we always stop.
Yeah, we normally stop there.
And the guy in his wheelchair is around the corner.
Yes, that's that intersection. It's the R26 taking us to Bethlehem. It's a massive intersection, and we entering Bethlehem. Still in good weather. Not a drop of rain. Coolish weather.
Talking about the weather, we had a fantastic time because when I like 2-3 weeks beforehand, I start watching the weather, and it just broke for us at perfect time.
No, we've been blessed. It's one of those things that is not in your control. We plan these trips as a group months in advance, at least 3 months in advance. And you know, what a blessing to be able to travel in fair
No,
weather.
let me tell you, the big blessing is you. You do all the planning and everything else, and it's so well organized.
Well, thank you. I hear you, but there's a lot of contribution in specifically Sunday morning breakfast rides. We gather our information, we hear what everyone's got to say, we get excited together, and we take recommendations, and that's really how the trips come together. Yeah, we're passing through Bethlehem itself. This is on the outskirts of Bethlehem. Of course, this stretch now takes us, this is on the national road going out Bethlehem towards Kestrel, but long before that we turn to the right to get to Clarence. From the turn off to Clarence, I think it's around about 35 kilometers. There you go. Yep. Beautiful road. You can see the Malutis in the background.
Do you see who overtook me?
It looks like Graham.
No, I think it's Chris.
Okay, similar bike.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I don't ride quite as fast as Graham, so it confused me.
No, well, you have to be in the lead.
Yes, what happened there is I went just to slow us down, and we were waiting for Colin, I think, because he thought there was still someone behind him.
Yes.
So he slowed down, if I remember correctly, and then we all caught up with each other.
And here we are actually coming into a bit of the mountains.
Yeah.
Near Clarence.
This is the Golden Gate area, you know.
Yeah.
Named after those.
And along this road, I don't know if you noticed the cheese farms. Did you see that cheese farm?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really...
There's lots to do.
Yeah.
Such a beautiful hamlet. The Golden Gate, Clarence Formation rocks that you can see. So these cream-coloured rocks, massive layered Karoo sediments, beautiful environment. And then there's something coming up here that in hindsight we saw at the end of the trip. And before you get to Clarence, you've got the Kwai Water Fallout. I'm not so sure about the name now, but it's a connecting pipeline from Katsy Dam. All the way from Katsy to the drainage pattern system outside of Clarence.
And here's Clarence, and we're going to turn right here. And you've got to tell the story of how this was organised with the Protea Hotel. I mean, what a beautiful hotel.
Yeah, no, look, Charl, we've stayed at the Protea often. It just accommodates a bigger party. It's the only way to keep 8+ people under one roof. But Charl came to the party proverbially because of his connections. He managed to get us a group discount that was amazing. It was like a half price, and it really helped. It helped us secure things up front, and I actually thought because of Charl's connection, we even got better treatment than before. People were very friendly. They knew we were arriving, and they even made food parcels for us for day 2.
Yeah, do you remember?
We left at 6, and these guys
they were serious food parcels.
Yeah, they were just so accommodating. The beauty about the hotel as well as the secure parking, it's undercover parking. It's very comfortable.
Yeah, and as you say, to try and get 8 people into one venue is something.
Yeah, let alone a party of.
And I'll be honest with you. With our group, it's like herding cats.
No. Look, you got to understand. You know, it's quite an achievement.
Yes. And they are just the size for the 1 liter mug.
I've been past, but I've never been in.
Oh, that's an experience.
I'd like to do
that's an
Oktoberfest.
experience.
There must be 1,000 lockers there.
Maybe we can go and ride bikes and then do Oktoberfest. Thank you, sir. Okay, just dry lemon now.
We're in Germany.
And you also want one of these? Okay, cool. Let's go sit down.
Let's go and sit.
In Germany.
Nothing, they're so quiet.
Yes, but I think they can grab it. Let me tell you that.
Almost just a top up then because we won't be. But
Then we okay. Yeah, then we seriously okay. Because you can see even coming here now, so
yes, my bike was very
if
economical.
my calcs are right from
I can do 400.
Always Gardens to here, my estimation was it's about 350 k's on my tank. Now I've got 75 left.
So that's over 400, eh?
Well, 65 left, so I would go just over 400, but I won't make tomorrow. I need to
No.
take fuel and get fuel.
And
From Botswana. Now we just saw a beautiful reflection there of the Bonnie, the GS's, Rod's R, and there's Charl, and he loves that triple black, constantly cleaning it. And look at Colin, he feels left out, so he's also cleaning. It's quite a surprise. I haven't seen him take a cloth to a bike ever before.
And this was us going to lunch.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah, taking a walk to where Herman's taking us, just off the centre of Clarence. German restaurant.
Oh, it's a German
It's
restaurant.
a German restaurant.
And there was some connection with Hermann. It's the same place where they make the beer that they've got the beer there or something.
Well, it's the home environment.
There's
that he
lots
comes
to
from,
look at.
Germany. His village
Lots to
brew.
look at.
He's offered there, and we were really looking forward to taking a sip of this beer.
There's so many little restaurants in Clarence.
Yeah, Clarence
I mean,
is just
it's like a big square.
It's got the city, the town square, which is traditional to that area. It's got the old post office that's now been converted into a restaurant as well. And from the square emanates the little dwellings, and in between are the various restaurants. I mean, just look at the view.
No, it's beautiful.
It's beautiful, and people
And they had to, there's quite a big group of us, so they had to move some
We've
tables.
got some tables together.
So please do get some snacks.
That's a dumb
We'll buy from the shop when we go. Just something to snack on.
No, tomorrow.
Drinks for tomorrow, yeah.
Let's get water.
Buy drinks.
Chrissy's so worried about us
I've seen
having
what happens.
snacks.
I've seen what
We
happens.
didn't come here.
There's skeletons up there
Those
next to
runaways with
burnt out bikes.
When you see how thin they are, you'll get worried.
Well, it's so like when I went to with you guys, I came up when I went to Durban from you.
Let's see if we do the full thing with no massive rain.
If I judge by
I think
what we
a
did
cut.
today,
No, we were here off.
yeah, but that's going to be
No,
like
but
that. But still,
that
if we,
travelling
Cut
is
is
if we can get our time
more
right,
twisty.
be through the border post before 7:30, 8ish.
Then we okay.
And then, just to give you an idea of what we had for lunch, we obviously had to start with a little red wine and a beer and so on. And then it was a perfect lunch the way I looked at it, because it was almost like tapas, wasn't it?
It was just such a collection of different eats, and we took our cue from Hermann. When in Rome, and this time we were in Germany, but you've got to follow the local knowledge. So I think listening to Hermann and his advice, we ended up with a meal that looked like this. Everyone ordered different foods, and everyone shared different drinks, different beers, and then of course John and Kirsten, they thought we were at a different restaurant, so they then quickly downed their drinks there. Look at the tall ones that they've got there, some cherry beer, I think it was.
Yeah.
But look, as you said, look at the spread. I mean, what a fantastic afternoon, what a feast.
This was a feast. And there we are, just checking the weather out just to make sure, because we weren't too sure whether this was rain coming in or not.
Look, a lot of bravery there looking at those clouds. You just don't know. I mean, you can have 4 seasons in one in the mountains, and you take it as it comes. It looked a bit ominous there for a moment or two, I must say.
And then this was, I think, on our way back, we went back to the hotel, got showered, got freshened up and everything, and then on our way for dinner.
Yeah, so this is our meal venue for night 1 in Clarence, day 1, night 1. The square, and this was interesting to me because we all picked our food, and then Colin sort of said to me, "Come and have a look at the aged steak, man." And they had some aged steak there that looked like it that was mummified. I mean, this stuff was aged.
Yeah, it didn't look that good.
It doesn't. No.
I thought, not for me.
Yeah, it looked a bit sort of skeletal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the next morning we had a little nice interview. Let's have a look at this.
Today's the day, eh?
Yeah, today's the day.
Today we're eating the big mountains.
Yeah.
10 pass.
How many curves in 100k? Something like 400 and something. Mike told us.
Tomorrow at Catchy, it's crazy.
Yeah. Morning.
Hello, Rodney.
Morning.
Morning, Rodney. Morning, Graham. How's it, man?
Morning.
Yeah, no, tomorrow, but Moteng today, second highest pass
Yes.
in Lesotho, but the steepest gradients.
So is
and
this first gear stuff?
I'd say second gear.
Second gear,
Slow
maybe?
second gear hairpins,
Yeah.
but you got to roll through them.
Yeah.
Maybe some impediments here and there, lots of shadows, but my golly, the view at the top. And then at about 2,000 meters, you lose the trees.
Yeah.
There are no trees.
Well,
And
because
the
you're up the
environment-
tree line, eh?
Yeah, that's the tree line. And then it's just little bushes and savanna at the top. And it's just climate related, cold, different, it's different.
Yes, we're going to have a good
ecosystem.
time.
Oh, we're going to have a fantastic
Yeah.
time,
Yeah. Enjoy it.
Thanks, man.
And here we are just leaving the hotel.
Yes.
Chris, we all sort of
Yeah.
lined up here.
All lined up and ready to go. This is at 5:45 in the morning
Mm.
on day 2. We're facing quite a long trip on the day.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're going to go right to the top. We go through the border post at Butabude and then Muteng Pass. Eventually we go past Oxbow Lodge. Here's Muteng Pass. Oxbow Lodge, and we get to the top and it is just magnificent. Carrying on past Muteng Pass, the 2 other higher points. If I remember correctly, we had about 3,200 meters here. Bear in mind, that's almost 12. It's twice the elevation of Johannesburg. And I could sense, Steve, that there was a definite reduction in power on the 1250.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Just going through, what was it? Motlahong. Motlahong,
We
yeah.
bypassed that.
Okay, so this is continuing on from leaving the hotel. We're now on the road to Fariesburg.
This is a fantastic road. It's the R711 that links Clarence to Fariesburg. 34 kilometers long. Must have been made by a biking engineer. It's just so sweeping, beautiful. And
Yeah.
Steve, look at the early morning shadows there, the crisp air.
It's stunning.
It's a beautiful ride.
And I must say that, Chris, I feel so at home on this road. I don't know what it is. I know we've done it a couple of times, but it really, you feel like you really know it.
It's the type of road where you become totally one with your bike and the surroundings.
Yeah.
It's serene, it's breathtakingly beautiful, it's elevated, and you look at the communities, the farms, it's everything's in harmony. Yeah, we've turned off now to Caledonspoort, right at the Fariesburg intersection.
Yeah.
Yeah, border post at Caledonspoort, very easy to get.
Yeah,
through this place.
there was no problem at all. I mean,
you need your passport and your 80 rand.
Yep.
And that's it. And take it in cash. They don't take any other payment on the dot. Very easy, very friendly. Literally a couple of minutes and you're through the border post. Both sides,
Yeah.
South African and Lesotho side.
And then we all met up. What did we have to do here? This little, there was something we did in this building.
Well, it's just where
Did
you get
they
stamped.
did they stamp it
Yeah,
in this
yeah,
building?
They stamp
I
in
think
that
they
building,
stamped
yeah,
it.
that's the South African side, and then you walk through to the Lesotho side
Yeah.
a bit further.
Protecting their little bit of grass, you can see.
Yeah, it was actually all very orderly, very well kept. But then again, we were early in the morning and we got through without any hitch on day one.
This is us just leaving the border post, and for the first time getting into Lesotho proper.
That's right.
And I must say, Lesotho is a very different kind of a. It's amazing when you move from the South African side into the Lesotho side, you can feel the difference.
Oh yeah. Look, it's not our first trip into Lesotho, but I always get struck by a couple of things. The first thing is people are very friendly. So the Lesotho people are friendly. They're very orderly, but it's a small population. They're
Yeah.
under 2 million people, and it's very impoverished.
Yeah.
There's a bit of tourism, but the main income is really from the water deals that they have with South Africa.
Correct, yeah.
By the
And by the way, I heard that the other dams that they're building, they're going to have hydroelectric, which they're then going to. They reckon they can supply the total Free State with power, which they probably can.
Yes, so this is leaving Butabute, and there was a roadblock. This chap called us over, and they check licenses. They frequently do that, although you've been through the border post where it normally gets checked as well. He had a brief check, pulled us over.
And this chap was so concerned that we got off the road.
Yes.
Because I think they're under a bit of strict orders that you can't stop on the road.
On the road, yeah. So all got off the road, and we waited our turn, and he checked our licenses, and we were on our way. There was no hostility. It was just routine checking. We've now left the built-up area, and in the distance you see the looming Moteng Pass.
Yeah, and you can. But if you have a look, there's like no fences, and you have to be careful for donkeys and dogs.
Dogs, and goats and sheep.
Yeah,
and then people and children.
Yeah,
it's you've got to be quite vigilant. The road conditions weren't very good at the bottom edge of Moteng. There's quite a bit of road works, and there are some potholes. But as you start taking the pass, the traffic minimizes. People don't really easily go over these mountains. It's only for work purposes.
Although we saw one or two huge trucks struggling up.
Yes,
do you remember?
They would be going up to Mokotlong and other settlements up there. But look at the richness of those mountains.
Yeah.
I mean,
no, it's stunning.
No doubt that's why they're called the Mountain Kingdom. It's very formidable. If you think about it, it's actually very fortified. These guys live in a country that is surrounded by mountains within a continent, within another country called South Africa. It's quite something.
So they're well protected.
Yes, they're very different people. The Basotho. If you look at the young men, we saw lots of them walking with their white gumboots and their hats.
I reckon it's a new fad or something.
It's got a lot to do, I think, with the time of the year, the initiation of the young. Men coming of age, and then they take their tradition. This is how they express their tradition. We saw very many groups of these young men, high in the mountains, sometimes in the villages, but all sticking together. Steve, we are ascending Moteng Pass, heading in the Sani direction. We spoke earlier on about losing the tree line, so we've already lost the trees here, so we're above 2,000 meters now. This pass has an ultimate altitude just beyond the pass of 3,200 meters. So it's really formidable. You can see here what we talk about, the second gear cutbacks.
Correct.
And the shadows that are cast over the road.
I mean, we did pass one or two trucks that were really struggling.
Yeah, it's amazing how these oaks can drive these big trucks.
They were very low on first gear, I think.
Yeah, you go. You can see the switchback here and the gradient.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the GoPro doesn't really show the gradients that well because it looks fairly flat.
Yeah. See the peak in the background with the tower.
Yeah.
That's where we're going to go through. It just gives you an idea of scale of where we're heading here. See, there's Hermann standing up a bit, stretching legs.
I've done that a few times myself.
You have to, get yourself comfortable.
Yeah.
That's the way to ride it.
And I think, what is the time here, Chris? Is it about 10?
It's probably heading around about 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock, yeah.
Maybe a bit earlier because we crossed the border post just after 7:30.
7:30, yeah.
So, yes.
But I just wanted to point out that this was quite a long day, really.
It was a long day. We decided to have a drink at the highest bar at the top of Sani. So from Butabute to Sani top is 210 kilometers, but that's misleading. Those 210 kilometers take you 5 hours.
Yeah.
And we're busy knocking down some of those. At the top of the pass, we're going to be approaching the Oxbow Lodge. And then from Oxbow Lodge, we go past Afri-Ski.
That's correct.
And then we're at the top of the plateau.
Yeah. And the scenery changes completely from this shrub and bush
Yes.
to almost nothing.
Oh, just sporadic grass, like savanna. It's very harsh conditions, it gets snowed under and iced under from early winter. So it's a climatic sign. It's alpine-like, if I can call it that.
Correct. Correct. Yeah. There we are.
So this is a pullover, a couple of kilometers from Afri-Ski. Bit of a rough edge on the side of the road, but there's nowhere else to go. And this is where we stopped for our breakfast, our brunch. We had these packs made from the Protea Hotel, and it came in handy, Steve. It was a long day ahead. Look at how the Moteng Pass snaked up to this point.
Correct. Here we are at the top.
That's at the top. At the top of Moteng. There's a different section to this where we are right now. It's called the Letseng Pass. Some people see Moteng and Letseng as one pass, but Letseng is just this last stretch of the pass, and then it's signposted as the highest point. But this section actually opens up a bit. It's not as severe, the hairpins, etc. So maybe it's correct to call it two different passes. Moteng and then Letseng. Look how beautiful this road snakes up to the apex. Beautiful shots of the Outriders. Skilled bunch of riders.
I don't know about that.
No, definitely. Skilled. Look at this.
Yeah, we can manage to get around.
Well, you show me a group of 14 guys that can spend 11 hours in the saddle in one day and then come home to celebrate it. It's formidable.
We did take a little bit of strain.
Yeah, no, strain here and there. Sore butts, I'm sure. Massive effort. It's a bit surrealistic, I think if we'd said to each other in the morning we're going to be spending 11 and a half hours on the road.
Yeah, I think
maybe the enthusiasm wouldn't have been that great.
Would have waned.
It's just, every corner you're just exploring, so in many ways time flies. If it wasn't for the early sun and then the late afternoon sun, the day does pass quite quickly. They not pass.
Look at this guy labouring up here.
Yeah, and this truck is really going at walking pace.
I remember that truck.
Yeah.
Fortunately, the roads are not busy, so...
No.
it's very pleasant.
Yeah. Here we're at the top of the mountain kingdom.
See the different
Totally
foliage.
different. Totally different. Beautiful open roads. And we're now traversing Lesotho from Putabute right through to Sani. Crossing the whole of the top of Lesotho. And Steve, yes, we're carrying extra fuel.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, we must take.
I think we got one or two pictures of that a bit further on.
Yeah.
Because Chris insisted that we get ourselves bladders because we're not going to run out of petrol halfway down.
It's a concern, you don't know whether the petrol stations have any petrol.
Yeah.
And we were forewarned. This is, Steve, this is a pic of the brunch earlier on.
There we go.
Yeah. This is a couple of pictures of the brunch.
And the group. Where was this, Chris? Can you remember?
This is at Mapo Naneng. A little village that we hadn't been through ever before, and they actually, it was amazing because they had all these Vodacom kiosks. You can see there are lots of Vodacom cell phone outlets up there, and
this is where, do you see on the left there? That's the garage.
There's a garage there. There's a garage, and here we're stopping because there was an indication that there's fuel. It's actually Graham. He was way ahead and was burning more fuel. And we then all pulled in and we filled up tanks.
Yeah.
Just in case. We were very fortunate that there was fuel there. You take it as you get it because you don't know what else is going to be there. And we spent about 20 minutes, I think, filling bikes here.
And I'm turning around to get a bit of fuel.
And you, saved it, all of us. And now we'll get an idea. I think we convinced everyone to top up here. Rod thought he was okay because he had his 3 liters of extra fuel.
Yes.
I think we convinced him as well just to top up.
Oh dear. But quite a different experience here filling up with fuel to in South Africa.
No, very different. And look, you are mindful of the quality of fuel you'll get here, but the people were very friendly.
I wasn't sure whether they were going to come out with 2-liter bottles of fuel.
Yeah. Already it's the same season, it's the same day, but look at how brown the vegetation is up there. So
I think it gets cold there.
It gets cold and it's dry. And then it has precipitation and it has a freezing up period in winter. And then the ice and the snow thaws. There's moisture flowing off those mountains. But the rainfall is not as high as one would expect it to be. It's just that the catchment area of the snow and ice is a big basin. Yeah. But you can see, it's the geology is very doleritic. It's a very basic chemistry, but the soils aren't very fertile and they're very shallow, as you can see from the rocky terrain. Here's one of the diamond mines that we're approaching. I beg your pardon, no, it's not the diamond mines. It looks to us like they're constructing a dam wall there.
That's correct, I remember this bit,
It looks like it's...
Because it's on a river.
It's on the river, and we're suspecting that this is one of the new dams that are being constructed. Yeah, Steve, so, this is the road that's now... the last bit covering the road up to the top of Sani Pass. So you turn off about 20 kilometers before Mokotlong, and it's called the A14. Although the A1 is the road that we've been on. So
I must tell you a little story about this, Chris. So my back was aching at this stage.
I can imagine.
So we stopped to turn, and I said to Colin, my back is I'm getting a bit of nonsense from my back. He said, "Don't worry, I've got the perfect solution for you." I said, what is it? He says, no, don't worry, it'll fix it, 100%. So anyway, we stopped, and all the other lads had pulled off, and the next thing he says to me, right, now, take off your shirt. I said, and now what are you going to do? He says, now I've got this special spray. So I said, okay, well, if it's going to help, let's do this. Yes, and he sprays the stuff on me, and it's lacquer and cool, but for only about 10 seconds. And then this lot got on fire. I've got some bloody chili.
Did you see the brand? Dr. Lee or
yeah, Dr. Lee or
Dr.
something
Lee spray.
Yeah. But let me tell you, it was so hot I didn't feel the back at all. So I know how it sorts your back out.
And hopefully you didn't touch any other body parts.
No, well, you don't want to.
Yeah, you didn't touch your back and then your eyes. Did your eyes?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. And then, when I put my shirt down, I had an itchy eye. So
my God.
So I just sort of like, went across my eye.
Yes.
And then that started going burning.
goodness.
So now here's my back burning, my eyes burning. I'm looking at a one, and now, because we've fallen behind the group, we're going like stink to catch up.
Dr. Lee.
Dr. Lee, I'll never forget Dr. Lee.
Lesotho Lee.
Yeah. Ian Oog.
Yeah. Well, in the distance you can see the escarpment that drops down Sani Pass. And we're heading there. It was a long stretch to get there. There goes Graham.
Yep.
Yes, we... Steve, where's this now? We still
So now, we're getting close
to the top of
to
Sani.
the top. Yeah,
Yes.
we're on the last little stretch.
Last little stretch here.
to the
Beautiful blue skies. I mean, we've been blessed by good weather. And time-wise, this was around about 12:30.
Yeah.
I recall.
And it was hot, eh?
It was hot.
It was hot.
And we had been forewarned about the UV index.
Yeah.
We'd been forewarned that we must wear dark glasses and put suntan cream on. And I think at this stage, I realized that that's absolutely needed.
And I think, Mark Pohl just sort of said to us, Mark said, listen, just guys, take suntan screen and use it.
Yeah.
And, I sort of thought, well, okay, it's, I understand. I normally wear sunscreen anyway. But man, was he right. I've got those gloves that have got like a hole in the top of the glove where you've got your wrist.
Yes.
And, you've got that strap that goes across. I had a suntan in there.
It just shows you.
It just shows you. Yeah.
I mean, I'd put on the suntan cream. I had the dark glasses underneath my visor, and my cheekbones were still every part that was exposed on
you
my
got it
face.
burnt, yeah.
I got a slight tingle of a burn there. Yeah.
And here we're coming right up. I think this is it on the left.
So what happened here is, I mean, I'd never been to this spot, and I got to the border post. Boom, and I went straight through. I thought that there must be some other spot, and I had lots of officials jump in front of me and turn me around saying, the guys have actually gone in here. The Sani chalets are to the left where this car's turning in. Yeah. I had to turn around past that boom, then come back. And when I got back, I felt a bit silly because there was Nick and Charl and Rod and the rest of you had gone in to the lodge already.
And don't forget, I'll tell the story, that one or two of the chaps decided they weren't going to come for a little bite to eat. And they said they'd stay here. Well, of course, when we got to the top, the whole group, everybody said, oh, there's toasted cheese and toasted sandwiches and whatever. So we decided to indulge ourselves of a fairly light lunch. And it was really nice. I mean, it was great.
It was a good break.
But the two lads weren't too happy with us when we got... Was it 2 or 3?
I think it was 3. I think it was...
I think they were...
Guys, but I mean, it was a bit... I felt sorry about that because, to stand outside in this sun, it wasn't very good.
It's a bit warm.
But yeah,
but this is a good shot of the bag there.
Yeah.
The bladder.
Yes, these rocket rods are, and there's you know, that bladder there is actually a 3-litre bladder.
And he's put 5 litres in it.
It was close to 6.2. And I said to Rod, this thing's not supposed to look like a swollen armadillo on steroids, you know. And he looked funny at me. But I you know, Rod got a lot of feel into that bag. There's no doubt, you know. I think he pushed the design specs. Rodney was not going to run out of petrol.
No, he wasn't going to take a chance on that.
Yeah, so we this is where he has Nicholas.
Yeah,
he's going to stay here. He said.
Yeah.
There was a bit of a gravel stretch there, and I think that might have put the guys off. But it was just 200 meters to the top of the lodge. But you know, you only know it once you've been on it, so we didn't know what the condition was. This is a beautiful shot, Steve.
Yeah, at the top of the lodge, looking down on the top of Sani.
Yeah, these are the snaking cutbacks. I think there's about 8 of them right at the top end of Sani.
And I think at some stage in the future we've got to have a dip at it.
Yeah, we got to try and get bikes from Underberg side up there. But it's beautiful. There were a couple of tour guides that took people up, and it was lovely to see how these vehicles were making their way up. So we spent about 35 minutes at the top there, and we had some drinks and some sandwiches, and then we rejoined and by at about 1 o'clock.
And then
we started heading back.
Pretty much the same all the way back.
Same all the way back, but we now knew we were in for at least 5 hours of riding back. So 5 hours to cover 210 kilometers. That's more or less the time distance.
That's it. And that's the end of day 1.
That's the end of day 1, yeah.
So I hope you enjoyed it. And day 2 will be coming up next.
Yeah. Day 2 coming up next. It was 11 and a half hours. It was a formidable day, but what a journey. It was fantastic to get everyone back safely, and we relaxed and we readied ourselves for a fantastic dinner that evening.